The announcement of the settlements the very day that the vice president was there was insulting. I mean, it was just really a very unfortunate and difficult moment for everyone. The United States, our vice president, who had gone to reassert America's strong support for Israeli security.
Well, that was Hillary Clinton talking this weekend, and she has got the pro-Israeli lobby up in arms. They're not happy with what she had to say, and the Israeli ambassador in Washington says U.S.-Israeli relations are at a 35-year low. We're going to talk about what's shattering and what's not in U.S.-Israeli relations, and then have a quick word about the GOP. Are they in bust-up mode after the three-day GOP convention in California? Here with us is Max Blumenthal, author of Republican Gomorrah, the movement that shattered the party. So, Max, start on this Israeli-U.S. relations bust-up. Is there really a bust-up going on?
I wonder. I would think the lowest point in Israel-U.S. relations, which wasn't very low, was during the first Bush administration, when James Baker told Yitzhak Shamir, then the prime minister of Israel, far right-winger, just like Netanyahu, when you want to talk to me, here's the White House phone number. When you want to stop these settlements, when you want the loans to resume that we give you every year, when the baby wants its candy, give us a call. Has Hillary Clinton done that? All I saw over there was Joe Biden showing up late for dinner.
Even there, she makes the point that Biden was going to Israel to reassert our strong relations, this country's strong relations with that one. In fact, he was going there to try to kickstart peace negotiations, peace talks with the Palestinians.
I think, George Mitchell had gone there to try to kickstart peace talks, and Biden was actually going to try to convince Israel not to bomb Iran, which would be disastrous and possibly, according to Israeli military experts, set off a region-wide war that could envelop Israel in war for as long as the next decade. So the U.S. has a lot of strategic imperative for putting pressure on Israel and possibly dangling the loans before them and sanctioning them for what they're doing. They've been building settlements ever since Obama called for a settlement freeze. And they understandably, the Interior Minister of Israel, who's from the far-right Shas party, who needs to show off to his domestic constituency and try to show that he's independent of the U.S., that they're not going to take this parasitic position to the U.S., understandably ordered the construction of these settlements, of this miniature Jewish city within occupied Palestinian East Jerusalem, because they haven't felt any consequences for doing this throughout the entire Obama administration, and Netanyahu authorized it.
And Netanyahu is now saying he regrets the timing of the announcement, but not the plan.
Yeah, well, this is, Netanyahu authorizing it, and now he's taken aback because the U.S. has finally put its foot down. What the U.S. does is still in question, and I think we'll see more of that when the quartet meets next week. But right now, Hillary Clinton is sort of leaking, the State Department is sort of leaking kind of a vague plan of what they might do. And to me, it doesn't seem comprehensive enough. They're not calling for an end on the siege of Gaza, which is a huge source of antipathy towards the U.S. throughout the Middle East. We heard David Petraeus, the head of CENTCOM, say that our relationship with Israel is putting U.S. troops in danger in Iraq and Afghanistan. So if this is such a strategic imperative, the U.S. plan, what the U.S. asks of Israel should be more comprehensive than simply not building one settlement in Jerusalem.
And maybe just not making the announcement while we're here. Not such a tough complaint. Well, we're talking about people putting their foot down. Let's switch to the GOP and GOP relations. The California State Convention just wound up 3 days in which they did put their foot down. We're having no more Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's this mean for the 2010 strategy, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we'll have any more Republicans holding statewide office in California. You look at the history of the Republican Party in California. In 1993, the far right, the Christian right, took over the California Republican Party and won a lot of local elections. This led to a huge disaster, the election of Gray Davis, the Democratic governor, and the liberal Democrats taking over the assembly. In the background was Prop 187, this anti-immigrant measure that the Republicans had pressured Pete Wilson to pass. And so you can't win elections in California with a far-right Republican Party, with this far-right California Republican Assembly and the teabaggers running the party. You need
But that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger said, and he said to them, you need to broaden your appeal. They just spent the last 3 days doing the opposite.
But the California Republican base is one of the most far-right Republican bases in the country. They represent the eastern part of the state, which is thinly populated and extremely, extremely right-wing. It's basically the Deep South once you go about 2 hours east of LA. So they're in a terrible situation, and this kind of, shows an extension of what I, talk about in my book,
I was going to say, does
Gomorrah.
it speak to the shattering that you described?
Right. I mean, and it's not the Christian right doing it, as in my book. It's this Tea Party movement, and they're doing it across the country, in Florida with Marco Rubio as well.
This week saw the launch of the coffee party get-togethers in coffee houses around the country. You want to tell our audience a little bit about what the coffee party is?
Well, I want to know from the audience or from you what it is, because I'm not clear what they're doing. I know that coffee is #1 on the website, Stuff White People Like, and this movement, from what I can tell from its website, seems to be sort of a caricature of what liberal grassroots activity looks like after a year of Obama. They seem to be wanting to pose some counterweight to the Tea Party movement, but the Tea Party movement is out in the streets. They're angry, and they're using Alinsky tactics to sabotage not only Democrats, but the Republican Party, and move the Republican Party to the right. I don't know if I can say bad words on this show, but
try it.
Well, Rahm Emanuel called the left retards. I want to see this coffee party get angry and protest at Rahm Emanuel's house and say, we are not retards, we are your base, and if you don't listen to us, you're in trouble in 2010.
Max Blumenthal, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
If Rahm Emanuel can say it, maybe you can say it. We'll find out. The book is Republican Gomorrah, Inside the Movement That Shattered the Party. There's more information at our website, GRITtv.org.